Okay, and welcome back to session 2 of testing out the siege update in Dwarf Fortress. This is my second time playing the fortress Tholodur, Musar, the Deep Roots of Knowing. And I've basically just gotten started, so there's not an awful lot to look at. And it also means that I've got so much to do in the next 45 minutes or so, because I've got to build up a little bit of the exterior of my fortress here so that there is actually one controlled entrance and exit. I've also got to set up a food supply. I need to build a tavern, and because I choose to make this fortress kind of focused on scholarly pursuits, I need to try to create a library as well. So let's just see what we're doing here. Where we left off yesterday, we were creating some basic wooden items. We have a still. Now that we've made some barrels, we can start brewing. I don't think that there's any real need to get my crafts dwarf producing anything, although pretty soon they will need to start making cups, as well as nest boxes and hives. We have a basic dormitory and dining hall, which is going to meet the dwarves' very basic needs in this first year. We're digging downward. We've gotten through 2 layers of light aquifer, and we've gotten down into a gypsum layer that doesn't appear to be wet. What I'm going to do then, to sort of kick things off this evening, is dig down one more layer, because I like to always leave a buffer layer between my aquifer and the main part of my fortress. So we'll unpause, we'll get them back to work. We've still only got the 7 dwarves that I embarked with. I haven't yet really seen any evidence of this new update yet because I'm so early into the game. I have heard and seen online from other folks that have had more time to play that there have been some bugs possibly, which is to be expected in the early days of any new release. So I'm just identifying a few more trees to be chopped. Okay, now we're into level 7, which is chert and lignite, which is good. That's something useful that I'm going to be needing for my industry. Just to go back up to the top, check the positioning of my river. One of the first things that I'm going to want to do while I'm building my tavern is to also make a cistern and a well. Right on. Okay, so I like that shape for a tavern. I will go ahead and plan to put a cistern beneath it. And then the next thing that I need to do, or want to do, I guess, is create a path from the cistern up to the river that avoids any planned construction that I might have in this first level here. So what I think that I'll do I'll probably start here. And then see how far I need to go here. Okay. Okay, that works. So I'm going to unpause again, and the dwarves are going to start mining that out. Keeping in mind that because they're going to be digging through aquifer, I'm going to have to micromanage this construction. Meanwhile, this is what the tavern is looking like. Now the still that I built up on the surface is going to get removed. I'd much rather have the stills here where they belong. I'll stick a kitchen here as well, which is something that I did not have last time. And inside this little entrance area, I'm going to be putting in some little nooks for my manager and my bookkeeper so that they'll have a place to work before I can create the elaborate rooms for all of my nobles. Okay, I've got a few migrants I can see. My population is up to 11, which means I've gained an extra miner. We'll go ahead and we'll assign the bookkeeper to the kitchen, producing meals of decent quality. because in this early stage, whatever I can do to ensure my dwarves' happiness is important. Okay, office. Manager's nook. And there's a manager. The bookkeeper can be right across. And that's a small detail that is somewhat important, again, in this first year of the game. So we're digging out a cistern at the same time, smoothing things as we go. I need some more tables. Continuing on with the date palm table, and what were my chairs? Macadamia. Just for consistency. Okay. So now some other immediate needs would be storage. I like to have storage areas that have that are like vertically stacked with staircases going up and down to the storage on the levels above them and below them. It allows the dwarves to move around easily, ensures that I have enough storage space. So you'll see that's what I'm building here. Again, with a central staircase. And if I want to be fancy, I can plan for that staircase to eventually have a waterfall, or at the very least, a little bit of an aquifer leak that will create some mist, so that my dwarves, going about their business, going up and down the stairs, will get to enjoy some lovely mist on their faces as they walk past, because we know that dwarves, for whatever reason, love that. So, storage area. I need to plan for some rooms in my tavern, in my inn here, that can be rented by visitors. I don't need those up and running just yet, but I'd like to block them in so I don't forget about them.
Here, why are they changing clothes? We're changing clothes.
And apart from that, I don't have any major needs, but I'm going to go ahead and start working on a library that will be attached to this tavern. I'm thinking I'm calling the tavern the Drunken Scholar, and then the dwarves will be able to go right through into the library from there. Like, this is kind of a central hub. think that works. And I think we'll go ahead and put the entrance right here. Unpause and let the dwarves dig that out as they're able. My daughter is really trying so hard to stream with me again right now. So here's the overworld. I'm down here at the very bottom in the southern tropics. You'll see that I'm not at war with anyone at this point. My parent civilization is doing well. I have lots of friends and neighbors here. Plenty of goblins as well. And we're at peace, but that doesn't mean anything. Now, thinking ahead to the first conflict that will inevitably pop up, I want to be thinking about military. I want to make sure that I will be ready. And so while we're working on the tavern and the library area, we also need to be walling in the above ground entrance to the fortress. I don't think it's very dwarfy to be building anything important like this out of wood, but I also don't think that the dwarves would care all that much about the surface level of their fort, so I think it's fine. And because of the aquifer, I'm just not really in a hurry to get down into all of the stone construction. I'd rather just work with the wood that I have to start with. As my tables and chairs become ready, I'm going to be adding them to the tavern and then later to the library, since they're important furniture for both. Simultaneously, we're working on the cistern. And of course, we've run into some issues here because whenever dwarves hit aquifer, they automatically stop digging. And that's okay. We can name the tavern. Get ourselves a tavern keeper and a performer. Yeah, looks good. Now, all of my animals want to be where the booze is for whatever reason. So one more thing that I need to do in this session is to designate some pasture areas for all of those beasts to get them out of my bar. We now have a chicken coop. a goose coop. We'll go ahead and put a pig pen here over on the left. Though there's really not a place to put my sheep until I sort of pave over this murky pool here. But we'll go ahead and designate the space anyway. The water buffalo pair that I was just given, I'm planning to butcher them as soon as I have the opportunity. So I'm just going to stick them down here for now so that they're out of the way. And yeah, I'm not planning to keep them. I'm looking for some more date palm trees. Okay. So now we can remove the still, since we have 2 underground. Continue paving the floor. We're going to go ahead and pave the coops. Time for the nest boxes, I would think. And since we're starting that, we'll go ahead and produce some cups. And some crafts as well, which can be sold later on. Perfect. Now this is probably a good time to save. There really is a lot going on here, kind of all at once. Lots of things are needed. I'm wondering how much effort is going to go into this fortress, only for everything to just be lost the first time that the goblins invade. Because I may simply not be prepared to deal with their new tunneling strategies, their new behaviors of sapping and sort of burrowing into the fort. Hi, Amelin.
Hi.
Come here.
Okay.
What do you see?
Uh, um, I see that. I see something. It's a ghost. Ghost.
So, going back to take a look at the progress underground, we can designate a store room right here for everything. This is a great place to put essential workshops. Again, the carpenter being up at the surface was temporary. He's now going to go down here. I'm going to continue over on this side with more stockpile. If everything looks nice and tidy and symmetrical, that's because it is. Some nice little pillars there for decoration. There. Now for the library, I'm sort of envisioning a couple of central tables. Let's put them here and here. I know that there will need to be some chests, bookcases, some statues for decoration, chairs, and I'm sort of just kind of pre-smoothing to get everything ready. Continuing to put down furniture as it becomes available. Let's get the butcher and tanner put in quickly because I'm seeing some random animals on the loose, like this donkey foal here, that I really don't need. I'm not in the habit of keeping animals around that I don't need because they just, in my experience, produce lag. So if I'm not planning to breed something long term, then I will probably just butcher it. Goodbye. And let's put a farmer workshop right there. So that's going to be a well right there, leading down into the cistern, which I can see has started to fill up quite a bit because of this aquifer that's leaking here. That is a little bit of a shame. You can see that there's magnetite, hematite, and other things down there that I kind of wanted. And it would be nice if the dwarves actually were able to get down there and get those things into the stockpile before they flooded, but these things happen. With that in mind, I will have them produce a few wheelbarrows. Let's see. Doors, blocks. This is a really good time to get a mechanic up and running. We have an awful lot of chert, so let's go ahead and produce chert mechanisms for trade. And I guess because we have office nooks for the manager and the bookkeeper, I guess I could start thinking about work orders. So I will put in a few for the still. I'll produce 50 drinks at a time. Whenever the amount of fruit that I have to work with is greater than 10. We'll do the same thing for brewing drink from plants. Every day, produce 50 as long as there's enough produce. Okay, now as we're auto-saving here, I'm heading back up to the surface. I've got to start putting in doors. Goodness, and walls too. Let's check and see if this biome has any wind. Continuing on with all of these multiple projects. And little by little things are starting to shape up. Okay, it's autumn. What do we have to trade? Let's go through the list. All of these wooden crafts can go. I will make more. All of these can absolutely go. Mechanisms. We'll sell them all at this point. I could probably go ahead and sell that table, and let's go ahead and keep it at that for now. It's not a huge number of items, but it's not bad for my first trade. Diplomacy. I'll be quick with this. Hi, Amelin, come on over. Metal bars. We want some lead? Okay. Come on over. You can watch.
What's that?
This is me requesting the things that I want from my
Yeah,
civilization next year. The things that I want them to bring.
Just a second.
So I'm asking for some armor, a little bit of food,
Are you playing
weapons.
Minecraft?
No, this is Dwarf Fortress. Let's see.
Excuse me.
Yes, Amelin. I don't think we need anything. Various basic supplies. I have to anticipate what I'll be needing next year.
No, 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 no.
What are you doing? All right. Now I can get my trading over with. Picks are important right now. I will grab some food, some leather, a few basics. Grab some meat, which reminds me, I need to train my dogs. Grabbing some cheap leather to make into bags. Bags are the thing that really tend to hold back production in the first year. And what else might I want? Okay. There we are. So that concludes trading for the first year. Oh. This is where the micromanaging really comes in here. Tunneling through damp stone. That stone will continue to leak slowly until it gets smoothed out. It's very easy to forget about it, and before you know it, you've got floods. You can make areas inaccessible because they've completely flooded, like what's happened right here with my stairwell. So I've got to open it up now from the other side and do that fairly quickly. Almost. There. Now that's all opened up, and if I really want to be careful about preventing water from building up when I don't want it to, then I can sort of line these walls with wood constructions the way that I did at the entrance to my fort. Continuing to work on the tavern, the library. Next up, I know that I have to be thinking about a barracks. I definitely need chests. Those can be stone. Let's continue the stockpile over to this side. Get some farming going on. Whoever comes to work here, this will keep them busy for a while. So we can make some turret coffers, cabinets and bookcases. And what else? Meanwhile, back up at the surface. Without nesting boxes, these geese are really not doing me any good, so. I'm going to go ahead and designate a library, give it a name. And we need at least a scholar and a scribe to start. Let's do scholars first. There's no harm in selecting 3. Now that my population's up to 14. There. We have 3 of each. Not much is going on there yet, but libraries can be useful. I know I need to make a couple of floodgates, planning ahead. I know I need a few grates as well. Might as well get those started. No harm in making some rock doors as well. For that matter, let's do some statues. Let's go ahead and train up these dogs with everything else that's going on. And speaking of everything else going on, I'm thinking about placement for a first barracks, which I'd like to have its own little staircase up to a sort of fortification where my archers can shoot at anybody who is nearby. So I'm planning on creating a little enclosed area up there. This can be a combination barracks and archery range. Oh, let's see. Yeah. And we'll go ahead and turn that blueprint into a dig order. Dwarves are pretty busy at this point.
I can't enter that top.
All right. Dwarfing it up. I think this is a good cutoff point for session 2. So what I'll do now is pause, save, and return to the menu. And that's that for tonight.